So welcome back to the Beauty Life, and this video is just me today, but I wanted to talk about the whole wealth plan that I've learned, which consists of a few steps. One is to develop a career. So you can't develop too much wealth if you're working for minimum wage, even though that's now $15 an hour, which is way better than when I started working. That's step one, and they don't have to go in order. Step one was to build a career, which I have, and the second was to invest your money into the stock market, learn about investing. And so I spent quite a bit of time and listening to podcasts and watching YouTube videos and learning on the platforms how to invest money, and so I tried that. And I started doing that. Then the third step is to invest in real estate, which everyone knows it's a lot harder than what YouTube says it is. So all these lucky people investing in real estate, I think, you only get really a couple of shots in your lifetime to invest in real estate, and you have to pray that you're lucky enough to get your money out of it. So real estate is still something on the horizon. And another was to start a business. And nothing is going to challenge your relationships with people harder than having your own business. I wanted to talk about it today because there is the employee perspective and the employer perspective when it comes to owning a business. I work both. I am an employee and I see things as an employee. I know my position in the world, where I stand in the company, and I perform the task that I'm hired for. And that's what the company wants me for. Nothing more, nothing less, just what I was hired to do. And it's great because you can go home at the end of the day and not have to think about work so much, or it doesn't come home with you for few people. But when you're an employer, you're always thinking about your company. You're always having to promote it, market it, strategies, cost analysis, troubleshooting. And if you don't do any of it right, you're going to lose your company. There's always that potential someone's going to sue you. People are more inclined to sue companies just because. They can, they can put something weird in their own drink, or they don't like enough ice in their coffee. They can ruin a company very easily. People can. And many, many, many people have an employee point of view. What can I get out of the company and how little work I can do? I never thought that way, but a lot of people do. And so, I digress to how this challenges your relationships, because your stress is now involved with other people who know you. Your neighbors will know about your startup business or what you're doing, and they have their own opinions of how it's going, even though you're developing your growing pains. And then the loved ones you live with are also affected. Like, they feel that this is unknown territory. It can be stressful, and that can amplify the tension between people in the household. So before you start a business, and though it's easy to say, oh, go ahead and start a business, letting you know right now, it's way more complex. And the dynamics of starting a business, there's a lot more to it than these YouTubers and people who talk about business will ever really mention. The gravity of how being a business owner changes your perspective on how people work together, how they see you as a person or a company, how it affects your marriage or your family relationships. everything changes. And it's a real struggle. And if you don't plan ahead well enough, or you have some strong learning curves, like with my company now that I started, there is a strong learning curve involved with it. And so those people are growing with you. They're being exposed to your learning curve. And so that can be stressful for a lot of people. So, and that's all I wanted to talk about on the BD Life, is this wealth building that I've been trying to chase after with my husband. It's been a long and difficult journey, especially with COVID that had brought home prices down and then skyrocket. Has made it very, very challenging to do any of the above wealth planning. And we originally moved from Florida to Washington to start like maybe a wasabi farm, which the land prices out here just kept growing and growing and growing and became more and more expensive until we couldn't afford that dream anymore. So at this point, we're skipping the real estate and going straight to the business part, because that's the path of least resistance. And I'm going to tell you right now, it's challenging for every step of the way. And it's also pretty fun to grow and learn how this world functions with business. I think it makes people more well-rounded if they can step in the shoes of a business owner, a small business owner, and then also step in the shoes of an employee. You can see how like the dynamics change in relationships. So stay tuned. I think my next video that I'll post will be about this garden I kind of left hanging. I have some purple carrots, and I have a rosemary vine, which I think I picked the wrong rosemary, because this one wants to crawl over the floor instead of grow up like a bush. And I have tomato plants that are they each have their own personality like you've never seen before. I've never seen anything like it. So stay tuned to see what our green thumbs are doing this season. And I'm pretty sure our next season, year 2, the tomatoes and all the other plants will look just 100 times more amazing. So that's our latest update on the BD Life.